Good morning and Happy New Year, my friends. I am Irina Miech at Eclectica in Brookfield, Wisconsin. I hope you had a wonderful holiday, and today we're going to have lots of fun. We're going to continue celebrating the new year with new bales. How about that? So, let me show you some fun things that we're going to talk about. So, we're going to start with some very simple bales. I don't know if you guys are aware of how many different types of bales there are. And of course, we have them all at Eclectica. So they're bales that simply connect with a little jump ring. I think that is probably the most common one, and there's so many different variations of it. There are glue-on bales, and we'll talk about the various glue-on bales, and they come in so many different varieties. So here, let me show you this one. This is one of my favorites with the little seahorse.
Kathy says good morning, and Rita says good morning, everyone.
Hi, good morning, Rita and Kathy. I hope you are having a beautiful morning. It's a great day. Lots of sunshine. So I'm showing you more pieces with a glue-on bale. And you know, I used to be a little bit snobby about glue-on bales, but when I actually started using them, I fell in love with them. I do a lot of wire work and metal work where I set stones with traditional methods or not so traditional methods. But I have to say, glue-on bales have a really good place in jewelry design. So I will come back to this in a little bit. So these are obviously earrings that are made with little glue-on bales that are intended for earrings. So we'll come back to all of this, and I will just continue to preview. Of course, some things I'm not previewing. They're going to be a total surprise because guess what? They were a surprise to me as well. I just thought of it this morning, didn't make a sample yet, so it is a surprise to all of us. So here is a bale that is, this is a bale that is specific to a donut. So there are lots of different donut bales, and I will show you some of them.
Carol says good morning.
Good morning, Carol. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. So, of course, the reason I like to talk about bales and various findings is because all of us have a variety of beautiful focal pieces like cabochons or just large beads, and sometimes it's just a nice little bale that's going to make the piece.
Lynn says hi, Irina and Tony.
Hello, Lynn. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. So what I'm showing you right now is actually a pair of bales that I embellished. And these are pinch bales, and we'll talk about many other types of pinch bales, but these are quite unique, of course, because they have all these beautiful openings that can be filled or left as is. And so you can see I put little tiny gemstones inside of those openings. Okay, and then let's see, what else do we have? Well, we have so many other variations on what I just previewed. I think we're just going to get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to my very simple piece with this beautiful Eye of Shiva pendant. So we all have some type of a stone, or maybe it's not even a stone. It could even be something like this, maybe like a Swarovski charm or component with a hole at the top. So how do we use this? Well, I'm going to show you a couple of different ways. So one way to use it is very, very simple. All we're going to do is put a jump ring through the top opening, well, actually, through the only opening that's available. So that's easy. Okay, so I just opened a jump ring. The jump ring goes right through my little opening. And with some bails, if the bail has a loop like this, so this is a loop that is actually perpendicular to the bail, all we are going to do is slip the loop right through the jump ring, close the jump ring, and we have an instant pendant. So how easy was this? This is like it's not even a 1 minute pendant, it's maybe a 10-second pendant. All you have to do is just open and close the jump ring, and you have a piece of jewelry. So what if we have a bail? And again, my goal today is to just explore a great variety of bails that are available. And so the next bail I'm going to show you has a hole that is oriented a little bit differently. So this is a bail. Wait a minute, I guess I didn't grab one like this, but that's okay because we're just going to do a little bit of deconstructing. And so this is a bail. I'm going to show you the bail by itself. So this is a bail that has a loop that is not perpendicular, but parallel to the bail itself, okay? So for this reason, we need not just one jump ring, but actually a second jump ring, and here it is.
Lynn says, love that pendant, so drawn to spirals.
Oh, thank you so much, Lynn. Me too. I think we're sisters in spirals. It's one of my most favorite jewelry or themes rather, for jewelry and just about any kind of art.
And Kim says hi.
Hello, Kim. Thanks for joining me today. And Happy New Year, everyone. So again, this is just a slightly different way to construct with, again, a very, very simple bail. So if your loop allows it, or I'm talking about the loop on the bail, you might have just one jump ring, or if not, then you might need 2 jump rings. But it's still very, very simple. Okay, so now we are going to continue. So let's see, what should we do next? Well, here is a super, super easy thing. We have donut bails rather. Okay, so let me set these 2 lovely eyes of Shiva aside. And I have a donut with a very simple donut bail. And if you guys have not seen donut bails, they come in such a nice variety. So right here, I actually have a few donut bails, and we're going to look at them as a grouping. So while you guys are looking at the donut bails, I am going to grab a donut. How about this nice blue one? This is a beautiful demorderite. If you like denim colors, just nice denim-y blues, this is a good one. So here is a donut bail, and this one works very similarly to the one I already have on my little donut right here. And what we'll do is, you can see that it's a bail with 2 loops that are going to align once we put it through the donut. So here it goes. So now we're just going to squeeze the bail together like this so that the 2 loops align. And if we're not able to do it with our fingers, we might just use our flat nose pliers Make sure they're well aligned. And now we are going to open a jump ring. Using our flat nose pliers and our chain nose pliers. And put it through both loops. How easy is this? So, oops, well, you have to drop it a little bit in the process. It's just part of the process. So now we're going to close the jump ring. It's always good to hear that little click as you close the jump ring. And if you are new to jewelry design, you might want to watch. I have several videos on some really good basics, including opening and closing jump rings. And you might think it's very, very simple, and it is very, very simple as long as you know the basics. And so there it is. We just made a pendant with our bail that is intended for a donut. And of course, this could go on a necklace or a chain, a ribbon, however you decide to wear it. Okay, so now moving right along, there are some donut bails that are actually interchangeable.
Kim said, dropping is my method of work hardening the metal, wink, wink.
Oh, thank you so much, Kim. You know what? I love that so much. I'm going to use that. And so let me explain the joke for those who are just starting out in jewelry. So the more you work metal, the harder it becomes. So I love it. Dropping it just actually makes it harder and therefore better. That's awesome. I love it, Kim. Okay, so now I am using an interchangeable bail. So look, you can have several donuts, and all you do is just put it through the donut, put the bail through the donut, and you have instant jewelry.
Sarah says, good morning. Loved last night's video too.
Oh, thank you so much. Good morning, Sarah. I'm so glad you watched it. And so those of you who have not, it was on beginning metalwork, on just some very fun metalworking tools and basics. So if you didn't watch it, you can always go back and watch it, as well as a whole bunch of other videos that I have in our little library of videos. And that video, of course, is on the Irina Miech Facebook page as opposed to the Eclectica Facebook page. So I just got to this donut, which is a little bit thicker. So this particular bail is not going to work. So sometimes it's matching the right bail with the right donut. So let's see what would work. Of course, this one would have probably worked for this beautiful jasper, but we'll look for something else.
Pam says, hi, Irina. Sorry I'm late.
Oh, don't be sorry. Hello, Pam. I'm just thrilled that you joined me.
And Janice says, thank you, Irina. I love learning from you.
Oh, thank you so much, Janice, and thanks for joining me. I'm so glad you guys are here. And again, if you guys have comments, questions, please just type them in. I love talking to you. So look at this one. I love this floral bail. This goes so well with that beautiful poppy jasper.
And Heather says, good morning.
And good morning to you, Heather. So, so this particular bail actually is just a little bit different. There's like a little, almost like a prong, and we're going to bend it down. So this one is not quite as interchangeable as the bails I showed you a few seconds ago. So I'm using, actually, if I use my flat nose pliers, that'll be even better.
Lynn says, I like using bails. The bails you are showing are some of the prettiest she's seen.
Oh, thank you, Lynn. Thank you. So, yeah, I love these bails too. These are fantastic. So this is what it looks like. Okay, you know, I wasn't able to bend this little prong over over the donut because the donut is just a bit too chunky for this bail. But with a different donut, with a slightly thinner donut, it would work beautifully. Of course, you can just leave it up like this, and this makes it interchangeable. So moving right along, we talked about the bail donuts. So again, very fun. So many different designs. And what I love too is the different colors of metal, because certain metals, like this one in particular, I don't often use gunmetal, but I think this really complements the colors of the poppy jasper. And of course, bronze or silver goes so well with the turquoise. Okay, so we'll set these aside so we can talk about something else. All right, so now we are going to come back to the pinch bails. And pinch bails are meant to be used whenever we have, well, in fact, okay, I will say that this is a great alternative to something like this. So when I made this little pendant with the Eye of Shiva, I actually had a very nice big hole to go in. And so with this, we're able to use the jump ring. However, sometimes we have a little hole that is just not large enough to accommodate the jump ring. So in that case, we're going to want to use a pinch bail. And sometimes a pinch bail is simply a choice. Sometimes it's a good alternative to a jump ring. So sometimes the hole is large enough to accommodate a jump ring, but maybe it's a little bit too low on the stone and there's just too much space here, so it would have to have a really huge jump ring, and that's not necessarily the look that we're going for. In this case, the pinch bail will do a much better job.
Carol is wondering if the donut just hangs there, or is there a way of attaching it?
So, good question. So with certain things, with certain bails rather, the donut just hangs there. So like this, Carol, this is all it does. It cannot come out because, so here, let me show you. I have a little ribbon right here. Just bear with me. All right, so I'll put it on a ribbon and you'll see. So it simply hangs through the hole at the top of the bail, and it cannot go anywhere because the ornament at the bottom of the bail right here is too large to go through the opening in the donut. So it just hangs there. And with other donut bails, it works where we actually secure it with a jump ring. So unless we take off the jump ring, the donut is secure and cannot come out. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. All right, so now we're just going to move on to the pinch bails. So as I was saying, sometimes the opening is just too low on the stone, and it would take a really humongous jump ring to do something like this.
Carol says, thank you, now I understand.
Oh, thank you so much, Bale. And I'm sorry, thank you so much, Carol. And it's my pleasure. All right, so the pinch bails are meant to do something like this. We simply go inside the hole, we align the two, do you see the two little prongs right here? So we align the two prongs so that they go right into the hole from both sides, and either just by hand, just with your fingers, or using our flat nose pliers, we are going to push the bail into that opening, and there you go, we have a pendant. So the idea, of course, is for the two prongs to meet in the center. So I will show you some of the prong bales and just give you some examples of how I have used them. So here are some prong bales, or some pinch bales rather. And earlier I showed you these embellished pinch bales. And I love these embellished pinch bales because, of course, these come from this sterling line of jewelry. We call them silhouettes. And what is really special about this line, in fact, maybe I'll do a whole video on this line because there's so much more to it.
Lynn is wondering what the lavender stone pendant is.
Oh, yes. So the lavender stone is, it's called dogtooth amethyst. And not only does this come in just such a variety of different shades of amethyst, it also comes in so many different patterns of amethyst. It's just really, really special. And thank you for asking, Lynn. So, yeah.
Treese says, good morning, Irina and Tony.
Good morning, Treese, and Happy New Year. So these bales with the openings, the special thing is that you can fill any of the openings you like. As you can see, I put a little peridot right there. I know it's subtle. I hope that the camera picks it up nicely. So just a little peridot, and here I have a fun little amethyst crystal and a ruby, and again, a peridot.
Treese says, Happy New Year, too.
Thank you, Treese. I hope you had a great holiday. So, so how would we use this? Very simply, we, again, just as I did with the amethyst, with the dogtooth amethyst, I'm going to make a pendant. Well, let's see, do we like this lovely apatite, or do we like the amazonite? Actually, we like them all. It's hard to decide. What do you think, Bonnie? Bonnie's here. Bonnie says hello. So, Bonnie, do you like the amazonite or the apatite?
The amazonite.
Okay, Bonnie likes the amazonite, so we will make a pendant with the amazonite. So again, I'm going to align these prongs and just squeeze.
Lynn says, thank you. I love it and actually have some of the dog's tooth amethyst strands.
Oh, that's wonderful. It's one of my favorites. Isn't it just so awesome? The variations on it and the patterns are just beautiful. Okay, so there we go. I just squeezed the pendant, the bale rather, onto the amazonite. And look how fun this is, the contrast of you know, these little crystals are actually really special. I have to show you. I grabbed a little handful so I could show you.
Treese says, hi, Bonnie. Good choice.
Hi. Thank you.
Okay, so you can see these little amethyst crystals. These are actually natural. These are formed totally naturally. They're not caught. This is exactly how they come out of the ground, and they're drilled, and it just makes some of these pieces so special. In fact, I have another piece I'll show you in a second where I use them. So this is very, very simple, as you can see, and maybe I will use my other bale for this. In fact, I do think that the peridot and the apatite are really quite complementary. So these bales are sterling silver, and it's quite soft, so that is why I'm able to open it just with my fingers. Of course, I do have to tell you, from all the years of working on jewelry, my fingers are quite strong, so you might consider using your tools.
Irina, people often ask me if those bales are secure once they're on.
Yes, good question. So Bonnie asked if these bales are secure once they're on. I would say yes. It's a matter of squeezing it nice and tightly, and it's also the matter of finding the correct bale for the correct piece. In fact, I will tell you. Okay, so this first one, the Amazonite, this is really quite perfect. So I'll take a second.
Lynn says, Irina, I have the Amazonite stone pendant and made your special sterling silver spiral for it.
That's awesome.
And have it on a long chain, and she loves it.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm so glad. Thank you for sharing that.
And Pam says, such a creative use of the amethyst crystals. And Robin says, hi, Irina.
And hello, Robin. And thank you for making those comments, ladies. So I love it when you guys share. That's awesome. So, but let me give you a little hint. So you can see how thick this stone is. So actually, this is a great fit, and this is quite secure. This stone, for the purposes of the demo, I did not cut the prongs shorter. But if I were making a permanent piece, you can see that this stone is really quite thin. So if I were to make this permanent, I would actually cut these prongs a little shorter, okay? So I would cut them in half to make them accommodate the stone better. And that would make the piece so much more secure.
Oh, that's a good tip.
Oh, thanks, Bonnie. So again, look at the thickness of your stone, and if it looks like the prongs on the pinch bale are quite a bit longer than the width of the stone, then you might need to make them a little shorter. Okay, so now we're going to move on to something else. We have a lot of fun things to look at. Okay, so I said I would talk about, actually no, wait, I'm not quite ready to move on from the pinch bales yet. So just this morning, I realized that I did do a demo on a pinch bale. If you remember these fun spiral bales. So I know it doesn't quite look like it's a bale, but yes, it is actually a bale. It's meant to hold a stone. And it is so easy. If you have one of those really cool focal point stones that are kind of medium size, up to an inch, these are great.
Robin is wondering if you would use glue too.
On something like this?
Maybe the pinch bales in general.
On the pinch bales, I have not, and I haven't had an issue. But if you're concerned, I don't see why not. The only thing is that with glue, you lose the movement. So I like having the movement on the pinch bales. So with this one, you can see that it's not pinching entirely all the way in. So what you might want to do is create a little bit of a tension. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just kind of going back and forth with it and squeezing it. What I'm doing is I'm work hardening it. So by work hardening, I'm making certain that it's going to have a little bit of a spring, so that when I put my stone in, the metal is going to want to just spring right back in, and I will have a really good hold.
Carla says, hello, I love when you say stone.
Oh, well, thank you, Carla. Wow, that's an unusual comment. I love it.
And Robin, movement makes sense.
Yes, thank you. So you can see, I don't know if you guys could see, I did not have a very good fit before, but now it's a great fit because I work hardened the bale. All right, so now what can we do with this? And by the way, I'm using this really awesome, this is one of my favorite things actually. I have a piece of my own jewelry that's made with this beautiful smoky, it's a carved bead. I want to say it's about 20 millimeters, just to give you the idea of the size. And this is probably 22 millimeters. So it accommodates quite large drilled stones. And so what would we do with this? Well, we could probably just use another jump ring and connect it to a bail, and that is all we have to do to make a fun little pendant. So there we go, jump ring, and our bail goes right on, and we're just going to close our jump ring. There's that click that we always want to hear, and we made a pendant.
Nora says, love that carved bead.
Oh, hi, Nora. Thank you so much.
And Carla says, I can hear your Wisconsin accent. I love accents.
Oh, awesome. Well, my Wisconsin accent probably has a little Russian accent in it. So, yes, I am originally from the former Soviet Union, so you probably are hearing a little bit of that. But Wisconsin accent works too. So there we go. We just used a pinch bail. In fact, let me point out that this piece, as well as this piece, actually uses not one bail, but two. So let's count. We have the spiral bail, which does count as a bail because it's a pinch bail that's meant to hold a stone. And then I use the more traditional bail with the loop on both of these pieces, so that is two bails in one piece. So if you think about this, bails are really quite versatile.
Lynn says, yes, your accent is lovely to listen to.
Oh, thank you so much, Lynn. You guys are so kind and so great for my ego. Thank you so much, ladies. So, okay, so here we have another pinch bail yet. So this pinch bail is just a little pinch bail. And so here is what it looks like when you buy it. And here I already opened this one with my chain nose pliers. But let me show you how to open a pinch bail.
Robin loves the spiral bail.
Oh, thank you, Robin. It's one of my favorites as well. Thanks for mentioning that.
And Treese says those pieces are gorgeous.
Thank you so much, Treese. So all you do is you just put your chain nose pliers right into your bail, and look, oh, okay, so that slipped. But all you have to do is just open it. You see how I'm pushing it open? And now it's ready to go. So what can we do with this? We can do a number of lovely things. We could put it on a Swarovski, and of course for this particular piece, which is not very wide, so we always want to look at the side, this is way too open, so we might have to close it. But I'm just going to show you so you have an idea. So look how beautiful that is with that Swarovski ammonite. Super fun. And here is a ginkgo. So again, really fun. So we're not necessarily making finished pieces, just getting some really good ideas. And so on this one, I used a round bead. So we have to open it quite wide. And I did that with this bail. And look, I'm just going to show you that the hole, I hope you can see the hole on this. So the hole on this is quite large. I want to say this is a 1mm hole. So with most pinch bails, you are going to need a hole that's a little bit larger. So we are going to just push the bail into both sides of the hole, and then I am going to use my chain nose pliers. Actually, maybe I'll use both the chain nose and the flat nose pliers to squeeze the bail. So, because it's not very large, it's a little bit tricky, but it's doable. You know, what I do sometimes is just put it on a bench block and very gently hit it with a hammer. So the operative word here is gently. But as you can see, I just used my chain nose pliers and that worked quite nicely. So I'm not going to make the entire piece here, but I will just give you some ideas. So in case of this little piece, I took a couple of jump rings and something like this and simply connected it to a longer piece. And it could be anything. It could be some type of connecting bar or any piece with two openings so that at the top of the piece you can have a jump ring. And if, of course, if you decide, you could even put some type of a bail right on top of this jump ring, so you can make it as long as you want. And what I love is these little openings or loops, and what I did here is I embellished it with those natural little amethyst pieces that I showed you before. And this is just wrapped loops, so I'm not demoing wrapped loops this time, but as you know, I have a whole library of videos, so we'll be sure to have a link to a video with some really good basics like opening jump rings and making really good wrapped loops like this.
Sally says, so many good ideas.
Thank you so much, Sally.
And Lynn says, this is a fabulous idea. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lynn. So, okay, I have a few more ideas for you. So we're not quite done yet. All right, so let me talk a little bit about glue-on bales. I just misplaced one of these little glue-on bales. Maybe, oh, okay, I just found it. All right, so let's talk about glue-on bales. So some glue-on bales are intended for pendants, and some glue-on bales are intended for earrings. So if you see that a glue-on bale has a loop that is perpendicular to the flat surface of the bale, that means it's intended for a pendant, something like this. So here's my pendant, and you know what I love is having some really fun detail on the back, like this little seahorse that I showed you earlier. I just love that little seahorse. And with a surface that is not quite flat, you really need to be sure to use a gap-filling glue like E6000. So in fact, I will demo this in just a moment. So I will also mention that certain bales are more conducive to, let's say, a flat, like a squared stone like this, and you can see how the bale is squared. So something like this would be really conducive to either a square stone or some type of a shape with a flat top. You can see how that fits so nicely. Now, on the other hand, this little leaf is conducive to any shape. So, for example, a round is perfect. I should probably take the price off before I demo on this. Okay, so we're going to do a little demo. And where did I just, oh, there it is. Okay, so I'm going to demo on this little leaf. So what is really awesome about this little leaf bale is that, I don't know if you can see this, but it's just a tiny bit concave. It's not entirely flat. Some bales are flat, some bales are not. Most bales are fine being flat. And frankly, for this stone, it really wouldn't matter. But if you are using a stone that is not entirely flat, it's nice to be able to use just a little bit more adhesive. And so this is E6000, which I have mentioned before. This is one of my favorite adhesives. Do you see how very, very gooey it is? So it's very viscous. And whatever gaps you have in your stone, if any, this is going to fill them so nicely. And this is just really great for this type of an application. So we're going to put our stone right on top here, make sure that it is nicely centered. Okay, so I like to look at the front as well as the back. And what's nice about this glue is that if it oozes out a little bit, it is so easy. I'm just using my finger. But it is so easy to remove just with your finger. It just kind of rubs off. And so it's very easy to have a nice clean piece with this glue because you can very easily take off anything extra.
Anne says, now I'm inspired to bring out my stash of pendants and cabs and get creative. Thanks.
Awesome, please do. Some things are just so simple. So here is the front again. And I am just going to set this aside because the best thing to do at this point is to not touch it at all. I like to let it dry for 24 hours before I touch it again. And in 24 hours, it'll be perfect hold. And again, let me show you a couple of, okay, so this is a pinch bail. And here is another glue-on bail. And you can see that this is not entirely flat. This is kind of organically shaped, which is one of my favorite things in the world, are just organic pieces. And there's the bail. Okay, so I saved a surprise for the very end. So here is my surprise. I am going to use a bail, and you guys have probably never seen this before. So this is, in fact, I'm actually holding it upside down. So this beautiful calla lily bail is meant to be interchangeable. So this is like, it's like a little lock. Okay, so it's like a locking bail. And so actually, no, I was holding it upside down the second time. So here it is. And so this is what I'll do. I'm just going to string a bead. And in fact, this is another example of the beautiful dogtooth amethyst. You can see how this is a little bit darker than my amethyst pendant. So it does come in so many different shades, and it is very popular. Okay, so now I am going to start making a wrapped loop. So as you know, whenever you make a wrapped loop, you always want to leave a little gap between the bead and the right angle that I just made in the wire. I'm using a ball pin, which is like a head pin, but with a little ball at the bottom. And I'm going to make a loop. So again, this is like an abbreviated demo of a wrapped loop. If you want a really good demo, I have several basic demos. And if you follow along, I promise you, your loops will be fantastic. Okay, so I'm just going to make a couple of little coils right here and fill that gap that I made between the bead and the right angle. And so now I am going to use a chain nose pliers and pinch in that little and so that it doesn't hurt anyone. All right, and now we're going to use a jump ring again. So really, all the basics are about jump rings and wrapped loops. Put the wrapped loop right through the jump ring, connect the bail, and close.
Robin says, that's a gorgeous bead.
Thank you, Robin. Come on down. We have plenty of them right here at Eclectica.
She wants it.
Well, fantastic. We have them. So, all right. So there it is. There is the bail. So now, how do we use it? Well, this is so simple. So, for example, if you have, here I have this little ribbon. So we're going to open the bail We're going to slip the ribbon in and now close the bail back up. Of course, with the ribbon, we didn't actually have to open the bail. However, what if you have a necklace that does not necessarily have a beginning or an end, like this one?
Lynn says, me too, she wants it.
Oh, thank you,
And
Lynn.
Robin says, you are too far away, boo-hoo.
Well, you know what? I know I have mentioned our awesome Kathy mail order before, and so you know, if we don't have it on in our Etsy shop, just so you know, our Kathy, oh, you know what? I just realized this is just a little bit too big to close the bail back up. So I'll do this over a chain. I have a chain here too.
And Sally says, a great enhancer bail.
Thank you so much. You know what? I forgot. It is called an enhancer bail. So thanks for reminding me.
And Pam says, I must plan a trip to Wisconsin so I can visit Eclectica. I love your variety of products.
Oh, thank you so much, Pam. So please come and please ask for me. I want to meet you guys. So,
Robin says, beautiful bail. And Kathy says, best bead store ever.
oh, thank you, Robin. And thank you so much, Kathy. Yay. So I hope you guys can all come to the store, of course. But if you cannot come to the store, please look at our Etsy shop. It's kind of a very new undertaking for us. We're trying to populate our Etsy shop. We do take requests, so if you want to see things in our Etsy shop that we don't have, some things are not possible because we simply don't have enough of them to take them out of the store and put them in our Etsy shop. But we're trying really hard, so we love input. Please give us input. And again, if you see something that is not in the Etsy shop, just call the store or email the store and talk to Kathy, because she's awesome and she will find anything that you see in my videos.
Carol is wondering if we're going to be in Tucson.
We are indeed, Carol. Of course we're going to be in Tucson. Not only are we going to be in Tucson, I am actually going to try to do maybe at least one Facebook video from Tucson.
We don't sell in Tucson.
Oh, in terms of selling, you know what? Years ago, many years ago, like a schmillion years ago, we sold in Tucson, but we have stopped, and now we just go to buy in Tucson and to find new suppliers.
Kathy agrees, wonderful bead store.
Thank you so much,
Robin
Kathy.
is going to make it one of her bucket list trips.
Well, I hope so. I hope not just one trip. Where are you from, Robin? So just type in the answer. I would love to know where you guys are from. In fact, here's a survey. Where is everyone from?
And Ann says, how about Philly in the spring?
Oh, you know what? I would love to, but it's just not possible. We have so much going on in the spring here. But you know what? Can I tell you, we are like a whole show. We have a really great bead store. It's one of the biggest bead stores in the country.